Well, families of Life Esidimeni victims feel let down by ANC Gauteng. They are upset over the re-election of a former provincial health MEC. And now to further discuss this, we are now joined in studio by an affected family member, Christina Mahlangu. Christina, thank you very much for joining us. First and foremost, I want to give you an opportunity to talk to us about your loss.
Well, I lost my sister in the process. Her name is Virginia. And the way she died really was not what we had expected. She was in life in Randfontein. And when we found out, it was too late. When we found out where she was, it was too late. She had passed away already.
Right. And
yeah, it was not a very nice person.
Well, we're so sorry for your loss. You're on set here to tell us exactly how you feel about Mahlangu's re-election into the ANC Gauteng PEC. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's not just my thoughts. It's actually the thoughts of all the families who were affected. And basically, they are not happy because for us, her re-election basically says what she has done is not that serious enough. You know, that's why they re-elected her. And it basically means these things could continue to happen. And if people are not held accountable, what's going to stop the next group of people who come into the service to actually do the same thing?
Okay. And I want to ask you how you actually feel about the ANC as a party as a result of this experience.
I'm disappointed. I'm saddened, especially because I'm a member myself.
Okay.
I'm saddened because the cries of people are not being heard. And the ANC actually stands for people, stands for the rights of people. And this was not a small tragedy. It was a very big tragedy. You know, it rocked the world. So how could they not see this?
Okay. Well, based on how you're feeling today, how would you express your anger in next year's election, if I may ask?
Yeah, I think next year's too far for us right now. But for me, the ANC is a long-standing organization. I am not going to allow few people who don't see what the ANC stands for to actually damage its reputation. I think we've allowed that for too long.
Okay, so the ANC says it's dealing with the matter. To that you say what?
To that I say you should have dealt with it before the elective conference. You should have done that immediately after the arbitration hearings. That would have shown us that you are serious enough about fighting corruption.
All right, so what do you think the correct sanction from the ANC on this matter should be?
Should be give us a date when she's appearing, the deadline when it should be finished, so that we can at least know what to expect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's really dig into this matter. I know you've lost a loved one and emotions are running high. Do you think Mahlangu should be criminally charged?
Yes, we've been very clear about it from the beginning. The whole reason why we went through this process was, one, to hold them accountable, to actually prove, you know, to the country that they were responsible for this, and that we achieved through the hearings. Now we need to, having achieved that, we now need to hold them accountable, because it's not enough that they resign and, you know, life goes on and they re-elected into senior positions. They now need to be held accountable. That's the only way to deal with it.
So has Mahlangu reached out to you personally? Have you heard any public statements by her on this matter? No,
she still has not admitted to any of this. She doesn't feel she's responsible for the deaths or the suffering of the survivors.
Right, so are you happy with the ANC? Now, we talked about this earlier, that they should do something about it, but this puts the party in a really bad light. Normally in international politics, if you're involved in an incident such as this, you wouldn't even contest for a position of power.
Yeah. Look, I suppose for her, because she doesn't think she's responsible, contesting was not an issue. Whereas we hold the view that you can't, a tragedy happening in your name with decisions that you made, consider yourself not responsible. And when you are responsible, you need to be held accountable. It's the only course of action that can take place. And that is how we're only going to clean the system. We need to root out corruption.
And so we know about your case. Can you give us some stories of how other families are perhaps coping with this that you could perhaps share with our viewers?
In fact, I was just telling the guys in makeup a few minutes ago that I thought I heard all stories. And yesterday I was told another story. A family member called me and wanted to catch up because they had lost their details and stuff, and wanted to find out the claiming process and, what needs to happen. She told me that her aunt was in one of the life facilities, and they were visiting her every second week. And for years she had been there, I think she said 20 years or something. And she actually, when it was time for closure, they told them there would be meetings and they will be informed. And then they were told, don't come and visit, we'll let you know when you can come through, and then we'll tell you where she's going to be moved to. So they didn't visit for the next, in the next 2 weeks, and then another 2 weeks. Before long, they were told, when they went there, they were told that she's not there, she was sick, she was taken to a hospital. Before long, they couldn't find which hospital, they didn't know where she was taken to. And then apparently someone who knew the aunt from, I suppose, back in the day, saw her in a mortuary. And he was actually preparing her body for a pauper's funeral. And yet the family was busy looking for her. When one of the family members actually approached Saddened Mahlangu and told her about this, she said, your aunt was mentally ill. What did you expect? Were you not expecting her to die? And that's the kind of person that we're dealing with. And those are the kind of stories that we have to deal with. So there was no remorse, no emotions, no pain, no, extension of, you are going through a difficult time, let's help, let's try and find out what happened. None of that. So for us to be sitting here, it's not because we are vindictive or it is the right thing for us to do. So it's not something that we just decided we're going to wake up, we don't like what the ANC said. No, it is a long-standing thing. We've been fighting this for over 3 years.
And when the general public sees your situation and sees the fact that government is lending some form of compensation to families, how does that rub you?
You see, people seem to think that money replaces the pain, and it doesn't. Some of the families have not even begun to deal with the fact that, and it's only 134 families, there's still many more that need to be compensated. And some of them are still dealing with that. So money does not compensate. It maybe betters the situation that you're in at the moment, but it does not replace that you have lost a loved one. In my case, I lost two. I lost my sister, and a year later, her daughter died. And we still can't explain why she died, because she wasn't ill. And so it has effects. It has rippling effects. It's a very painful process.
Sorry to hear that. And now you have a party which you support. Do you feel they're actually empathetic to your situation? Do you feel you're getting through to them?
Look, when we, as the family committee, started dealing with the Premier and the Minister, we're going to be honest, they've been very kind to the families. They've been very understanding. They've extended their hand. I suppose we were shocked by the re-election of Saddened Mahlangu, having walked the way with them to the point that we did. So it's a reaction from the families that we were doing so well. Why did this now happen? When you know we want her to be criminally held accountable. So I suppose it's a reaction of how could you allow this to happen?
Right. But right now it's still all talk.
Yes, right now.
What more can you do? What more can you do? And who do you think you can talk to that can make a difference in government?
Well, look, as families, we've decided that we're going to approach the ANC. We're going to approach the chairperson and the secretary and request a meeting so that we can understand.
Would you like to speak to Mahlangu face to face? Would you like that?
I don't think so.
Would that help you heal?
No, I don't. To be honest with you, I don't think so. We tried talking to her before the deaths. We tried talking to her when our family members were dying. She was never interested in talking to us. She was never interested. So I don't think she will be now.
And do you think if she were to address the families in a room or in a forum, that that would heal your pain? Would an apology serve you?
If the apology is that she is accepting that what she did is wrong, everybody can apologize. But if you're not accepting of what has happened, then your apology means nothing. I don't know how families would feel. I don't want to lie to you, because the families, a lot of them have actually avoided anyway where she has, where she is, because they don't know how they would react. Some of them have had really nasty confrontations with her prior to, her, resigning and stuff like that. And they were not very good.
All right, Christina Ngumalo, we thank you for sharing
Thank
your
you.
experience. And again, we're so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.